sorry, the last video got cut off on this page. All right, so we're going to start doing problems using our 5 postulates to solve for triangle congruence, right? We're trying to figure out if 2 triangles are equal. I'm going to go ahead and write our 5 postulates up here. We have angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle, side, 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 and hypotenuse leg for right triangles. All right. Now, these 4 things right here are common properties and definitions that you can use to figure out if a certain part of a triangle is congruent. So see here we have 2 triangles, right? Here's triangle number 1 and here's triangle number 2. They share a side. So that is a corresponding congruent side for both triangles. And we say that's the reflexive property. Corresponding congruent. If they share a side, automatically that counts as an S in their angle, side, angle, their side, angle, side, angle, side, or side, side. So you know that counts as an S because it's corresponding and congruent. If you see vertical angles and they're not marked, these happen to be marked, but if they weren't, you could mark them and say they are congruent, and it would count as an angle in one of my postulates up here. All right. Right angles are congruent, so if you see this little box, you know that this is 90 degrees and so is this. So not only are the angles congruent and they would count as an A, but you would also know that you could use hypotenuse leg. If you know the hypotenuse and the leg are congruent, then you would know that you could use HL. Okay, alternate interior angles of parallel lines are congruent. You know that from SCAVAS. So here I have this arrow and this arrow that signifies they're parallel. So I know that these 2 are alternate exterior and they're congruent, so they would count as an A in one of my postulates up here, corresponding congruent angles. All right, let's see if we can figure out if these triangles are congruent. All right, so looking at this, example 10. So I have 2 sides and 1 angle. I have 2 sides and 1 angle. Does it work for one of my 5 postulates? We will find out. So order matters. Side, angle, side. So this triangle has a side, an angle, and a side. See how the angle is included in between those 2 sides? This triangle has side, side, angle. Side, side, angle. It's not side, angle, side. For it to be side, angle, side, it would have to be the included angle right here, and it's not. It's this one. So I cannot say that these 2 triangles are congruent because they're not both side, angle, side. They don't have corresponding sides with an included angle. All right, example 11. I have these 2 sides is equal, these 2 sides is equal, and then they share a side, right? So I can say that that last side for both triangles is equal because of the reflexive property. Reflexive property. So I know all 3 sides are congruent corresponding sides. So these 2 triangles are congruent using side, side, side. All right, let me fix this. Oops, I want to go the other way. Duh. All right, example 12. I'm given this side and this side are congruent. So are this one and this one. Is there anything else that is not marked that I know to be true? I see some vertical angles. So I know these vertical angles are congruent. So now I have 2 sides and 1 angle. Let's see if they're in the right order for the congruency postulates. Side, angle, side, side, angle, side. Yes, they are. Yes, by side, angle, side. It's the included angle that's congruent, so that works. All right, number 13. I'm given this angle and this side. So these 2 sides and these 2 angles. Is there anything else that is not marked that we know to be congruent? Yep, these vertical angles right here. Vertical angles. We know they are congruent. So, are these 2 triangles congruent? Let's see what we have. And order matters. Angle, side, angle. Angle, side, angle. So, yes, they are congruent by angle, side, angle. That's one of my 5 postulates. All right, this last one, example 14. Automatically, I see these 2 squares right now, so I know right here, so I know these are right triangles. If they are right triangles, I can use HL, right? So are my hypotenuses congruent? They are, Remember the hypotenuse is the long side across from the right angle, and they are congruent. So I have my H and my HL, and then I'm also shown that the corresponding leg is congruent as well. So yes, these two triangles are congruent by HL. All right, example 15. I have two angles, and I have one side. I know this shared side is congruent for each triangle because of the reflexive property. So let's do the order. Angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. Is angle, angle, side one of my 5 postulates? It is. So yes, these triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. All right, flip it over. We're going to get a lot more practice with this. All right. So check which congruence postulate you would use to prove that the triangles are congruent. So I'm going to do number 1 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and try the rest, and then come back and check your work. All right, so number 1, I'm given that these 3 sides are equal. So these two triangles are congruent by side, side, side. Now, which postulate or which theorem is missing here? Hypotenuse leg, and that's because none of these triangles are right triangles, so I automatically can't use it. All right, let's go ahead and label these triangles so we can write a congruency statement. I'm going to go with A, B, C, and I'm going to go with X, Y, and Z. All right, let's write our little key out here for corresponding points. All right, my A. A is between the 1 and the 3. So what corresponds with A over here? Between the 1 and the 3 is point Z. So A and Z correspond. My B is between the 2 and the 3, and that corresponds with Y. Y is between the 2 and the 3. So my last point is C, so C must correspond with X. C is between 1 and 2, and so is X. So when I write my congruence notation, I'm going to write ABC is congruent to triangle Z, Y, X. So when you label these triangles down here, label them with whatever letters you want to use. Just make sure that your letters match up with my letters. All right, so pause the video and try 2 through 5. All right, I got you. Seriously, pause the video. Pause it. Okay, welcome back. You should have done 2 through 5. Let's figure out if you are correct. All right, so number 2, I have this side that are congruent. I also have this shared side that I know is congruent through reflexive property, and then this angle. So I have side, angle, side, side, angle, side. So yes, they are congruent using side, angle, side. All right, I'm going to label this one and do the congruence notation over here just for this one, and then I'm just going to stop because it might get too confusing if you use different letters than me. All right, so let's use M, N, O, and P. All right, so my first triangle right here is M, N, O. M, N, O. All right, what point corresponds with M in this triangle over here? P. So M and P correspond. All right, look at this point N right here. What angle does this correspond with in the other triangle? It also corresponds with point N, right? So those points are corresponding within each triangle. Point O also corresponds with itself, right? Angle O over here and angle O over here. So these points are corresponding. So it's a little bit confusing because they share a side, but you just need to figure out what points correspond within each triangle. So I'd say triangle MNO is congruent to triangle PNO. Okay. All right, number 3. I have something that's not marked that I know to be true. I know that this shared side is congruent for both triangles. So I actually have side, angle, side, side, angle, side. So they are congruent using side, angle, side. You'll check your notation with your partner. All right, now number 4. Let's see, I've got 2 angles and a shared or an included side. So I have angle, side, angle, angle, side, angle. So they are congruent using angle, side, angle. This one marks the shared side as congruent, right, through the reflexive property. And I can see that all the sides are equal. So this is congruent using side, side, side. All right. Flip the page over. The last one I'm going to do with you State whether the following pairs of triangles are congruent. If so, state the triangle congruence and the postulate that's used. All right, so this was an actual EOC question. It's asking us for two things. State the triangle congruence. That means give us a congruent statement. Tell me what angles correspond on both triangles. And then the postulate that's used. Looking at it, the first thing that you notice is that these two triangles are right triangles. So I could probably use HL, right? I need to make sure that the hypotenuse is one of the congruent corresponding sides. The hypotenuse is across from the right angle, and it is. So I have a hypotenuse and a leg, so I can say that HL is the postulate that's used. So my postulate is another word for theorem. Postulate is HL. Now let's write congruence notation. Triangle ABC is congruent to. All right, so looking at this triangle, what corresponds with A? We know that P does, right? P and A correspond. All right, what corresponds with B, the right angle? R, the right angle on the other triangle. And then C corresponds with Q. So they asked us for two things, the triangle congruence statement and then the postulate that's used. All right, go ahead and pause the video, and I want you to do 1 through 6 on your own, and you're going to check it with your partner in class. All right, welcome back. We are almost done. All right, so we're going to do the same problems. We're just going to work it a little different. State which additional information is required to know the triangles are congruent using the reason given. So now I know what reason I want to use. So what information am I missing to use that postulate? All right, so looking at this, I have these two sides. Is there anything else that I know just by looking at it that's not marked? Yes. I know that vertical angles are congruent. All right, so if I want to use side angle side, I need one more side, right? What do we know? We know that side UV is equal to side VK. I know that here is U to V and V to K. I know they're equal. I also know that angle UVW, and I know we haven't done a lot of notation with angles with 3 letters, but just connect the dots, right? UVW. So the actual vertex of the angle is always the middle letter. I know that UVW is equal to KVW. All right, so I know one side and one angle. I'm missing that last side, right? Does it matter what side? It definitely does. It has to sandwich in that angle. So it has to be side angle side. So this is what I would need, and side angle side right here. So the additional information required to prove SAS would be WV is congruent to MV. I need to know that these two are congruent. It cannot be any other side. All right. Now one more example and you'll do the rest. All right. If I want to prove that these two triangles are congruent using side, 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 the first thing I'm going to do is mark anything that needs to be marked that I know is true. So I see that these two sides are congruent. I also see they share a side, so I can mark that. That side is a congruent corresponding side because it's shared through the reflexive property. So I know that side QR is equal to side DS. This and this, it's given, right? I also know that QS is equal to QS. So if I were to actually write out reasons why I know these things over here, I would say that this is given, and I would say this is reflexive property. This will come in handy later with proofs where we're going to actually write out statements and then write out why we know. So this was given with our congruence notation, and this is reflexive property. All right. So what I'm missing is side RS is congruent to side DQ. I need side, 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 which is all the sides, right? So I'm missing this side is congruent to this side. All right, I want you to go ahead and work out the rest of these problems on your own. We'll check them in class. Also, give these a shot, these EOC review examples, and we'll do them in class the next time I see you. All right, sounds good.